Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to be back in this space once again, creating, recording and sharing all these yoga flows with you guys. The summer has gone past in the blink of an eye. The last video I did was before the summer, so it's absolutely so exciting to be back here doing all these yoga flows for you guys once again. I'm going to be bringing out flows every week, hopefully every Friday, so that you have something to practice with each week and something that hopefully you can look forward to as well. So anyway folks, let's get started with today's flow. We're going to be predominantly focusing on the hips. Obviously we're going to work through our postures and our poses, warming up the whole body as well, so that we can give ourselves an entire body stretch and a bit of movement in today's practice, as always, as well. If you have yoga blocks, these invaluable little things here, then grab hold of whichever blocks you have. Maybe use a blanket if you have one of those. They're quite handy just to roll them up as well. They'll give you a similar effect to using a yoga block as well if you've got that to hand. And let's get started. Okay, so to begin with, I want you to come into a comfortable cross-legged seated position, whichever feels good for you today. You might want to use your yoga block and just pop that underneath your sit bones, the same as your rolled up jumper or blanket as well, just to kind of raise yourselves up a little bit more. Sometimes I find that that feels a little bit nicer, especially if you're sort of sitting with your spine nice and straight. I find sometimes that's not as comfortable as what you think maybe it might be. So often raising your sit bones up will help and make you feel a little bit more like you're in a better position. So when you're ready, we're going to close down our eyes. We're just going to ground ourselves before we start in today's practice. And by grounding, I mean just kind of bringing our awareness to your practice today. And just for this kind of half an hour that you are taking the time to get on your yoga mat to really focus all of your energy into the here and now of your practice. So if you just want to pop the tops of your hands either on the top of your knees or just sort of laying in your lap, whichever feels comfortable. And we're going to begin by closing down our eyes and starting to, as always, in our yoga practice, we're going to focus on our breath. So I want you to really sort of be aware of every inhale and every exhale that you're taking. And I want you to gradually just increase the length of your inhale and do the same with your exhale as well. And we'll just keep going with our long inhales and our long exhales. And in doing this, sort of elongating the breath, you're kind of bringing your body into more of a rest and digest state of mind, rather than the more common fight and flight response, where we're in that kind of stress response. So we want to, through our yoga practice, just really focus on calming everything down, calming our nervous system down, relaxing our body, relaxing our mind, sort of focusing our mind a little bit more. And if you just bring your attention back to your breath, that will help refocus. Just take a few more rounds of breath. Try to maybe block out anything else which is coming into your mind at this moment in time. Maybe you've got lots of things happening right now. Maybe your to-do list is getting a little bit longer. But just remember, you've made the commitment, you've come into your yoga practice today, so just take this time just to recalibrate, refocus, and to just take the next half an hour or so just for you. Keep a bit of time out. When you're ready, we're going to blink open our eyes. And we're just going to do a couple of stretches. So if you take a big inhale, raise your arms up above your head. And as you exhale, move yourself around to the right hand side. Bring your left palm onto the right knee. Don't cause any tension. You don't have to kind of really push yourself around or pull yourself around. You're just going to bring your gaze gently over your right shoulder. Take an inhale, coming back to centre, raising your arms above your head again. And as you exhale, twisting round, this time to the left-hand side. And again, gaze comes gently over your left shoulder. Take an inhale. As you come back up to centre, raise your arms above your head again. As you exhale, bring your right arm down. And then lean over towards the right-hand side, really putting a stretch all the way through the left-hand side of the body. Maybe bring the gaze up towards the left palm. Exhale, just switch the arms up and over, so you're stretching all the way through the right side this time. Do that one more time each side, so inhale, left arm up and over. And then switching opposite side. Take an exhale. We're going to move ourselves into a tabletop position from here. So coming onto all fours, bring your wrists in line with your shoulders and your knees in line with your hips. You want to spread your fingertips nice and wide onto your yoga mat and have your pointer fingers just pointing forwards towards the top edge of your mat. Have the tops of the feet flat onto your yoga mat as well. And from here, we're just going to do a few rounds of cat-cow. So we're going to warm up through the spine and warm up through the front side of the body. So you want to take an inhale, and as you do, drop your belly down, bring your tailbone up, bring your gaze up. And as you exhale, rounding through the shoulders, rounding through the spine, letting all the air go. Take an inhale, fill the belly, fill the lungs, gaze comes up. And as you exhale, rounding through the shoulders, rounding through the spine. One more time, inhale, drop the belly down. And as you exhale, again rounding through the shoulders, letting all the air go. Take an inhale, as you come back up to centre, we're going to just thread the needle here. So what I want you to do is inhale the left arm up. As you exhale, thread it underneath your right shoulder. Drop your left shoulder onto your mat. And your gaze towards your left palm. Your hips here will have a tendency to kind of fly out towards your right hand side, but just try and keep them as central as feels good. Take an inhale, coming back up to centre, and as you exhale, just repeating on the opposite side. Again, being mindful of your hips, trying to do that thing where they're going out towards the left hand side. So just try and be aware of where they are right now. And take an inhale, coming up to centre. As you exhale, I want you to bring your sit bones onto the tops of your heels and just walk your palms of your hands forward, stretching all the way through the shoulders, stretching through the spine. Let the head drop between the tops of the arms. Take a big inhale here and a big exhale. Feel that nice stretch. And then on your next inhale, we're going to come into our first downward dog of today's practice. So put the toes under, push yourself back to downward facing dog. And pedal out those legs. Often, no matter how often you're practicing yoga, often you will find your downward dogs are a little bit tricky the first few of your practice, because our hamstrings always have a tendency to shorten with our day-to-day activities. So just kind of flex your heels here, bending through the knees. You want to have your feet in line with your hips and your wrists, shoulder distance apart. Again, spreading the fingertips nice and wide. Bring the gaze towards the tops of the thighs, towards your navel. We'll take a couple more rounds of breath here in downward facing dog. big inhale. I want you to lift the heels. As you exhale, put a bend through your knees. Bring your gaze forwards towards the palms of your hands. Now it's up to you here whether you walk, you step, or you jump to the top of your yoga mat. Take an inhale to a half lift, flat back. Now this is where your yoga blocks come super handy, especially if we're feeling a little bit tighter in today's practice. Then I want you to take an exhale, coming into forward fold. And then inhale to rise all the way up to standing, hands to prayer at heart center. Back into our Tadasana, our standing position. Now we're going to move through a couple of rounds of Sun Salutation A, which will really help to warm up through the front side of the body and the back side of the body as well. An invaluable part of your practice for bringing a bit of heat, a bit of movement into your body as well. So when you're ready, take a big inhale, bring the arms up above the head, bring your gaze and focus on your thumbs as you bend forwards into that forward fold. Take that half lift again into a flat back, bring your gaze forwards. As you exhale, step yourself back. Now option here, you can either do knees, chest, chin, and then coming into a baby cobra, or option to move through full chaturanga, so where you go through plank, you lower yourself down, and then coming into baby cobra from here, or upward facing dog. So yogi's choice. Push yourself back into downward facing dog from here, and again, just pedaling through the legs, focusing on your breathing. Bring the gaze towards your navel, fingertips spread nice and wide, giving yourself a nice stable base in downward facing dog. And then we're going to open up through the hips from here. So inhale the right leg up, coming into three-legged dog. As you exhale, let your heel fall down towards your left hip. Maybe flexing through the foot. Take a few rounds of breath. Just creating lots of space all through the hips. Take an exhale as you drop the right leg down. Inhale, repeating on the left side. So coming into three-legged dog. Exhale the heel back down towards your right hips. A few rounds of breath. As you exhale, just releasing the left leg down. Now take an inhale as you lift your heels. Exhale to bend through your knees. Again, walk, step or jump yourself to the top of the mat. Coming into half lift, option for using a block. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, rising all the way up to standing and hands to prayer at heart center. A couple more of those, folks. So inhale, arms up, gaze comes towards your thumbs as you bend forward and down. Take an inhale to a half lift. Bring the gaze up, flat back. Exhale, stepping back. Going to move through chaturanga this time. So lowering down through plank, upward facing dog, and into downward facing dog. And again, pedaling through the legs. Focus on your breathing. Gaze towards your navel. And a nice stable base. And your next inhale, lift up your heels. Exhale, bending through your knees. Gaze comes forward. Walk, step or jump to the top of the mat. Again, half lift using blocks if you want. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, rise all the way back up to standing, hands to prayer. One more time. Inhale, arms up, look towards your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, gaze comes up. Exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhaling to downward facing dog. And here we're just going to do that movement again where we open up through our hips. So inhale, three-legged dog on the right side. Exhale, let the foot drop down, opening up through the hips. Exhale to release. Inhale, left side, three-legged dog. Bringing that foot over towards the right side. And exhaling to release. As you take your next inhale, bring the right foot all the way through, rising up into warrior one. So you want to put a bend through your right knee here. Come as low as feels comfortable. Have your knee in line with your ankle and gaze comes forwards. Be nice and strong and active in your legs. A few rounds of breath. Open up into warrior two. So bring your heels in one line. Again, knee in line with your ankle. Gaze comes over your front little finger. And if it feels okay, of your hips so that they're facing towards the long edge of your mat. Couple more inhales and exhales. Inhale, straighten the front right leg. Bring your stance a little bit closer. And as you exhale, reaching forwards, bring the left arm up, right arm down. Option again here to be using your block. Just brings the ground a little bit closer. And this gives a little bit of extra support. And the gaze towards your left palm. Again, nice and strong through the legs. As you exhale, bring your right palm down to the mat on the inside of your right foot. Bring your stance a little bit wider again. We're going to lower down so that you're in an extended side angle. Still keeping the gaze up towards the left palm. Option here, you can always grab hold of your right thigh, grab hold of a t-shirt with your left palm. If you want to come a little bit deeper, nice and strong through the legs, you can always come into a bind here as well. You really want to kind of open up, broaden through your chest here. As you exhale, bring both palms down on the inside of the right foot, spring the back heel up, drop the knee down. We're just going to come into a low lunge here. Now this will be quite an intense stretch on the inside of your right thigh, so just be mindful of how you feel, don't go too far. We don't want to overstretch ourselves. Maybe lead with your chest, bring your gaze forwards. You can always let the knee fall out to the side slightly. If you want to come a little bit deeper in this posture as well, you can always bring your elbows down onto your yoga mat. Feel this stretch all the way through your hip flexor as well. So again, just be aware of how you're feeling so that you're not overstretching your body. Take an inhale. As you come back up, push yourself up into a crescent lunge. So you want to inhale, raise the arms up above your head. As you exhale, bring the hands to prayer at heart center. We're going to twist round to the right hand side, so revolved side angle. Be nice and strong through your legs. You might wobble a little bit with your balance, but if you try and find a space where you can focus your gaze, that will help. The gaze towards your right elbow. If you want, you can always open up the arms here as well. And just try and bring your attention back to your breath. Getting a little bit wobbly. So exhale, whoops, bring your palms back to your mat. And from here, just bring your right leg up and back, coming back into three-legged dog. And then exhaling the right leg down. Take a big inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And then we're going to repeat on the left-hand side. So inhale, three-legged dog with the left leg. Exhale, bring it all the way forwards. Spin the back heel down, rising up into warrior one. Gaze comes forwards. Knee in line with your ankle. Focus on your breath. As you exhale, open up into warrior two. So bring your heels so they're on one line again. Bring your gaze over your front little finger. Nice and strong through the legs, nice tall spine, gazes forwards. And on your next inhale, straighten up the left leg, bring your stance a little bit shorter. As you exhale, reaching forward, reaching down. Option for a block under the left palm, gaze comes up towards your right palm. Again, you can always bind here. You might want to wrap your right arm around your back, grab hold of maybe a t-shirt or your shorts, just to really feel that nice broaden and a bit of space through the chest area. Inhale to release, coming back up. Bringing your stance a little bit wider as you exhale, coming into extended side angle on the left-hand side. And again, option here, if you want to take the bind, always bring the right arm down the back, and then you can always bind with your left palm. Stay nice and open through the chest, through the shoulder. Next exhale, bring both palms to the inside of the left foot, spin the back heel up, drop the knee down, coming into that lunge on the left hand side. You might find that your left side feels different to your right. Often we don't always have the same sensation from one side to the other, so again, as always, just be aware of how you feel. One side might be tighter than the other. I can definitely feel this through my right hip flexor. And then option, if you want, depending on how you feel, you might want to bring your elbows down to the mat as well. Just a couple more rounds of breath. And then inhale, coming back up and stepping the left foot back, all the way up, three-legged dog. Exhaling, back down to the mat. Take a big inhale through your nose. And then exhaling through your mouth. Just pedal out the legs a little bit. Maybe give the head a little bit of a shake. Maybe give a little bit of a nod. Just making sure you're not holding on to any tension around the neck and around the shoulder area. And we're going to come into a seated cross-legged position. So however feels good for you, come into sitting down onto your mat. And actually we're not going to be in cross-legged position. We are going to come into a butterfly position. So I want you to have the soles of the feet together, coming as close to the body as feels okay for you. And just kind of bring your interlacing fingers around the tops of your feet. Tuck your elbows in. Stay here if that feels good. If you want to come a little bit deeper, take a big inhale to lengthen through your spine. And as you exhale, tuck the elbows as you just come into a forward fold. And again, focus on your breath. Inhale as you release. Just move your soles of your feet a little bit further away from your body, so you're creating a little bit more of a diamond shape with the legs. And then we're just going to repeat that forward fold again, so tucking the elbows in. I'm not going to hang out in these postures for too long. Obviously, depending on how you feel, you might want to stay in any of the postures a little bit longer. Now, as you release, so we're just going to move our legs out to either side, a little bit wider. Make yourself comfortable on your sit bones. Take an inhale again to lengthen through your spine, and as you exhale, just walk yourselves forwards, just as far as feels okay. You'll really feel this, giving your legs a stretch all on the inside of the thighs. Again, it's quite an intense stretch, so just be aware of how you feel. And take an inhale to come all the way up to centre. Take an exhale as you lean over towards the right foot, taking that forward fold on the right hand side. Inhale as you come up to centre, exhale, folding over the left leg. Inhale, coming up to centre, bring the legs back together on your yoga mat. Maybe scoot yourself forward a little bit. We are going to come into a laying down position, so make sure that you've got enough room. And then from here, just bring your knees into your chest. Just rock and roll from side to side. Just giving the spine a little bit of a massage. Feels kind of nice. And exhale, both feet to the floor. Bring your left foot, I had to really think where I was then, your left foot on top of your right knee. And then I want you to interlace your hands behind your right thigh and just raise your right foot up off the mat. Again, it's quite an intense stretch for your glutes and your thighs here. But really good for releasing any tension. Hips as well. Inhale. And then as you exhale, just release the right foot down. We're just going to swap from one side to the other, interlacing the hands behind the left thigh. You might want to flex your left foot. I can definitely feel this more on the right hand side than I could on the left. To release. Bring both legs straight out in front of you on the mat. Bring your right knee up in towards your chest. As you exhale, drop it over towards the left hand side. Maybe bring your right arm up as you bring your gaze towards your right arm. Just giving yourself a nice little twist. Release any tension through the spine. And again through your hips, glutes. Take an inhale as you come back up to centre. Exhale the right leg down. Inhale the left leg in towards your chest and exhale over towards the right hand side. Gaze comes over towards your left palm. You might want to rest your right palm on top of the left knee. Coming back to centre, bringing both knees in towards your chest. I want you to grab hold of your toes with your thumb and your forefinger and just let your legs come out to the side, this happy baby. So again, really awesome pose for opening up in the hip area. You can rock and roll from side to side. It gives your spine a nice massage as well. Then we're just going to bring our knees into our chest again for one last squeeze. Before we release them down, we're going to come into our Shavasana, the thing we've all been looking forward to at the end of our practice today. So I want you to come into a nice comfortable position in your Shavasana. Maybe you want to grab a blanket or a jumper just to lay over you while we come into our relaxation at the end of our practice today. And let our body just absorb all the good things from today's movement and today's yoga. So let your feet fall out to the sides. Give yourselves a little bit of a wiggle so that you feel nice and comfortable to be here for the next however long you want to be in your Shavasana. We're not going to be here too long, so you might want to hit pause. Spend as much time, the longer the better in your Shavasana is always good. Palms open, your hands and your arms come out to the sides. And just do a little bit of a body scan, so starting with your toes, all the way up through your legs, your torso, your arms, and all the way to the crown of the head. Just being really aware of every muscle, just relaxing. You can feel if you're still holding on to any tension. And just with your exhales, just let all that tension release. And when you're ready, just start to bring your awareness back to your breath. Bring a little bit of movement into your toes and to your fingertips. Take an inhale, and as you do, just raise your arms up above your head, stretching all the way through your front side of your body, pointing the toes. Take a big inhale, and as you exhale to release, coming back up into our comfortable seated position that we started with. So whether that's cross-legged, however feels comfortable. And we're just going to bring our hands to prayer at heart centre, give ourselves a little bow, thank ourselves for today's practice. There we go, folks. Thank you so much for joining me again here in this space. I hope that you have enjoyed today's yoga practice and go away feeling nice and chilled with lots of good vibes as well. As I said, we're going to be bringing you yoga flows every week, which is going to be amazing. I hope that you enjoy them. If you haven't already, click like, click subscribe so that you don't miss out on those flows. And I will see you back here next time on the mat. Namaste. Have an awesome week.